Hey guys, so this week we are going to be talking about making patterns in Adobe Illustrator. It's really easy, it's super fun and cool to make little swatches of original illustrations or bringing in photos, dragging them onto the swatches panel and creating a pattern out of it. So without further ado, let's get started. So have you ever found an old book and had a cool pattern on it, or maybe an old piece of paper like this? It's pretty cool, huh? This is one I've got in my library. Or maybe you want to figure out how to take one of your illustrations of maybe a flamingo like this and make a wallpaper out of it. Or possibly even create a really cool three-dimensional texture pattern that you could wrap on a pillow or something and create some home furnishings with it, like this one. But we're going to cover that using Adobe Illustrator's drawing tools and other things to create really cool, unique patterns a couple different ways. Let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is open Adobe Illustrator. And I've got it open already, and let me just create a new page. The page size really doesn't matter. Let's just do our usual 900 by 900. We are basically just using this to draw little tiles. Okay, we got a little square page here. They'll give us some extra room to put the menus to the side. And actually, let me scoot this page in the frame a little bit better. Command 0 to shrink it down. Okay, great. So we've got our tools in here. We've got everything. Now, creating patterns is super, super easy. Basically, the idea is that you draw some shapes and then you drag it onto the swatches panel. It's that easy. So let's start by opening our swatches panel. It's somewhere in here. It says it's open. Oh, it's over on my other screen. It's not it. It's not it. It's not it. There it is. Okay. So yes, we'll just be creating some artwork, dragging it in here. Now the first thing I want to show you is how to create, maybe a found object, trace something, just, something cool that you want to imitate. I'm going to drag in a few things that I found from some old book covers to kind of give you an example. So let's drag in our patterns from book covers. I want that one. I drag that in there. And this mushroom one's really cool too. All right, cool. Now you'll notice on these two different patterns that this one is pretty easy to see the tile, the square that you would cut out. But this one might be a little more difficult. I can kind of see it because I've done this a lot, but sometimes it takes a few tries and we might not get it 100% right. But we'll give it a shot. So I think I'm going to try the mushroom one first. I really think that's a cool pattern. So let's, now we could redraw it, but I'm going to do something else. I'm going to bring it into Photoshop, crop it into a square, and then bring it back in here. So I'm going to do that real quick on the side and then come back. Okay, now I'm in Photoshop. I'll show you guys in class this week how to open pages and things. A lot of you probably already know how, but just doing this to save time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this mushroom file right into my document here. There we go, cool. And as you can see, it comes in. It's got this little X through it. That means it's a smart object. I kind of think that the section that I'm looking for is right about here, and this is what I'm going to use as a tile. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use the cropping tool, which is little cursor, which is over here on the menu bar, and I'm going to grab that. Gives you these cropping areas. Pull that in to roughly where I think the edges are. I might leave a little bit extra. Just so I have some stuff to play with the pathfinding filter in Adobe Illustrator. So let's see. That's where the overlap is. That's going to. Okay, that looks pretty cool. You can kind of see where the overlaps are going to be. This section here is actually this part up here. This part here is this mushroom over here. We'll see if this works. We're back in Illustrator, and what I am going to do is drag the file that I just cropped inside of Photoshop into Adobe Illustrator. So let me get this on the screen here, drag that pattern in. There we go. Cool. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Now, what's really cool is you can actually just drag a shape onto, or photo, I mean, onto the pattern library or the swatches panel. And then drawing another shape, and you can fill it in with that. Now you notice this, we haven't played around with getting things to line up exactly in here. And I did play around with it a little bit earlier. Because this is a hand-drawn pattern, it's a little bit off. Probably the photo is a little distorted as well. But what I'm going to show you next is actually how to go in and edit the pattern so it lines up better. So we really don't need this tile, but I'll keep it there for now. Remember when I showed before, where if you double click on the pattern, it opens your pattern editor. So here in the pattern editor, if we start playing around with dragging the parts to line up with other pieces, let's see, that kind of looks like maybe, there we go. I have to go up a little bit here. Get that to line up, down a little. Not perfect, but it's getting there. What do you think? Looks pretty good. We'll say it's good to go, and it just gives you the idea of how this works. Now you can see a preview all around it. Of, it looks pretty good. So we will click Save Copy. Actually, we're going to click Done. There we go. It takes us back to the screen. Allergy season. So now, if I draw a rectangle on the screen, let me open my swatches again. The swatches went away. There they are. Yeah, it's filled with the new pattern. So next we're going to actually show how to edit the swatches, scale things a little bit, just as a quick tutorial, so you guys can remember how we did that in class. Okay, so we took and made a pattern like we have here and turned that into a pattern made out of a photo. That's really cool. You can do that with any type of photo. But now let's do something else that's like really, really a cool feature that Adobe has. And that's basically turning any image that's a raster drawing, like from Photoshop, a JPEG, into a vector. And actually there's some really cool results that sometimes happen that are unexpected. But usually you can get some like really, really amazing art out of it. The first thing you do need to make sure though is click on your image and make sure you go up to this tool up here that says embed and click that. It may already be embedded. We're going to embed it. We're going to click OK. There we go. Now you see up there it says unembed. If we want to change that, the reason we usually bring things in unembedded is because it saves space in the Adobe Illustrator file. But if you do embed them, you don't have to worry about supplying a photo and the Illustrator file if you're giving it to somebody else. They'll be able to just open it. All your photos will be in the file. So let's get started with taking this image here and actually turning it into a vector. Now this again is a super, super easy thing. Almost as easy as dragging just an image or pattern or who knows what onto the swatches panel. So what we do is we take the photo here, make sure it's selected, and go to this little tool up here called Image Trace. And we can pull from this drop down menu to the side a couple different options. There's like, what is high fidelity video? Let's see what that looks like. Kind of grain. It looks very painted. It's kind of cool. I'm going to undo that. There's also default. Let's see what default does. Black and white, cool pattern. Might want to use that sometimes. Gonna Command Z. I think what we want to do something that's maybe, this has like 3 or 4 colors in it. We want to do something that's like, let's try 6 colors. It's gonna make, there we go. Isn't that pretty cool? So now we have this 6 color vector object, and we can actually use this as a pattern. But you could do this with a logo or anything. Certain things do turn out better than others. So we could drag this tile into our swatches library. No, we can't. The first thing we have to do is use this tool up here. It's called expand, and basically it's going to turn all of the vector part, it's going to turn it all into shapes. So we will click expand. Expand, there we go. And you can kind of see the little blue lines that show all the parts. It's all a bunch of vector pieces. If I do the view outline mode, you can see that it's all these little cool parts. Go back to preview. I'm gonna have to use a shortcut. There we go. Big on shortcuts. They become muscle memory, and eventually you won't even remember what the keystroke or where it is on a menu. So let's drag this into the pattern menu tile, and that time, did it work? Let's see. It did not. Let's go back. Okay, so we had some technical difficulties there. Basically, sometimes with an object that you're trying to put into make a pattern out of, if it hasn't been expanded and ungrouped several times before you drag it into this thing here, I think if I do this now it'll work. Yeah, it does. But while I was off for a second, I basically went down to object and expand, and I had to do that 3 different times. There was probably multiple objects that were sort of like nested together in these complex groups that wouldn't allow it to make a pattern. It's almost like a pattern within a pattern. So often you have to do that, or you have to ungroup things. But now we can drag this cool pattern in here, and then if we, hey, what is that? We got all sorts of stuff going on in here. And then if we take this again, we can pick the vector pattern. And again, it's a little weird. It's a little off. So we'll double click on that. Open up the editor window. Of course, this now is all vector pieces. We could actually be really accurate with this. Let's sort of try to line some things up. That did not work so well. Line that up in that direction. Pay attention to what we're doing. Is that there? Bring this. Bring that up maybe to there. Bring this over to there more. It actually, I think that kind of works. What do you guys think? I see some stuff that's a little off, a little weird. But actually it's kind of cool. Okay, so we're gonna click done, and there, that's actually really neat. It did a few things a little strange, where some of these masks and things are overlapping each other, but it works pretty well. So that is how you create a piece of like vector artwork from an image that you bring in. And I'm going to show that one more time in a second when I find another photo. Be back in a second. All right, so let's actually play around with some photos and see how well the auto tracing works. We're going to give it a test run. I've got a bigger pattern of those birds I showed earlier. Drag that in there, see how that looks. And like we saw before, you could actually take this pattern that's pretty big, not just a single tile, drag it into the swatches, and then oh, there's our cool, isn't that beautiful? There, look at that bird pattern. It actually lines up pretty well. That is super cool. Great way to create backgrounds, wallpapers. Really cool. The fact that you can do it with photos, amazing. The one other really cool thing is it works almost identically in Photoshop. There's a few other little places you got to find things on the menu, but it works almost the exact same way, and it's just as easy. But let's take a picture. I was looking on the break for some pictures of me. Um, this is a pretty scary one. I'm going to drag this in here, shrink it down. That's what I look like when I wake up in the morning. Make sure it's embedded. And then we're going to do an image trace, and let's do 16 colors. Let's see what happens. It may be too... Oh, it looks like it's working. It's working, it's working, it's working. Fitting curves, curve fitting. Oh, look at me. It almost looks like a painting. Isn't that cool? And then over here, I didn't show this earlier, but let's say you want to change this up. There's these presets over here that with this drop down, you could use that to change things. So if let's say we want to make this, 6 colors. It's got to go through the processing again. It's going to do what's called posterizing it. Got your old... Oh, that's sad. I'm sad. Maybe go to high fidelity. Let's see what high fidelity does. Path smoothing. Oh, look at that. Now that is a vector drawing. That is not a photo. These are all individual shapes that are colored in with different colors. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And then let's do the Command Y thing. No, you can't see the lines. We'll have to expand it right here. Now you can actually see all the little shapes it's made out of. And if you go Command Y, you got like... So this is a vector photo. If we zoom way into it, we can actually start seeing the pieces that it's made out of. But that is super, super cool. I'm surprised at how well it worked. So that's our first set of playing around with patterns, bringing in photos. Next, we're going to do, with the more clean photo, a pattern. And then then after that, we're going to do like a 3-dimensional illusion sort of pattern. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. All right, so for this one, we're going to use just a straight up photo, a cleaner image. And actually, we might even test to see if this image would be a good candidate for the auto tracing. So I'm going to jump back onto the drive here, go into my photo pattern. I've got this avatar that I created before. It's pretty small. It's just a little photo of a chomping mouth. And again, easy peasy, just drag that into the list or the swatches panel. Ooh, birds. Blammo. And then, it's fun, it's cool, but maybe it would look better like kind of offset, stacked like more like bricks. I do not know what this is. Oh my God. Let's not do that. I do know what that is. I just couldn't remember. And actually, we were probably going to have to go over that. Object. Perspective. Path. Shape. Pattern. Edit pattern. And then we're in here. We're going to see, like, we've got all these different ways we can do the pattern. Let's do brick. Brick is pretty cool. Brick by column. Let's do brick by column. Go back, click all the way out. Use these, little well, we're gonna hit done there. So there, it's got a funny little line in it. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe we should go. Double click on that pattern again. Let's change it to brick by row. Still getting that weird line. That is one of the weird things. It went away here. But yeah, now we've got the cool. And look at how that looks really, really great. That's just made with a photo. Let's delete that. And let's actually take this little guy, kind of blow them up a bit so we can see. It's a nice high resolution photo, and we're going to do an image trace of that. Let's try low fidelity. Let's see what that does. Hey, it's done. Look at how fast that was. You can and actually you can kind of see the the pieces, but man, does that look cool or what? Great vector art. This is stuff you could use, bring into Adobe Animate, some other programs that accept vectors that you can edit in there, like After Effects. You could even pull these vector pieces into Photoshop, and I kind of did a multi expand there, and let's drag it into the swatches, and let's see if we can make a vector pattern out of this. Will it let us do it? It did. So now we have the vector version. That is the old version. That is the new funky vector version. A little bit bigger, but still pretty cool if I say so myself. And yeah, so again, playing with photos, vectors, pretty much anything. The next step is we're going to do a 3D shape to create an optical illusion of I think cubes probably stacked on top of each other. Then I have the secret bonus Easter egg round for after that. Hey, so I took a break for a few minutes to try to figure out what the heck was the basic shape, and I'll show you some of the sad results I had. If you're really good at math and geometry, you can kind of get these things. I mean, that's a cool shape, but it's not what I was going for. Almost there. It kind of does have a 3D effect. That's where I sort of got it right, but some things are sort of flip-flopped. But I think I figured it out, so let's try it. So basically what it is a shape like this, and I was trying the Pathfinder tool and all sorts of things to get this right. Eventually I just drew it. And to make it really work, I'm going to scale this down, and hopefully it lines up well. So I'll take this shape, it's all drawn with vectors, drop it back in here. Let's see what happens. That's not it. Oh yeah, look at that. Not exactly what I wanted, but close. It's pretty cool. I'll say I'll take it. But yeah, you can play around with all these sort of geometric shapes and patterns. Obviously I'm doing something a little bit wrong right here, but next I'm going to show you how to put this shape, this cool pattern on. Let's put it on a pillow. So going to be a short break while I get some files ready, and then I'll show you how to put this pattern on a pillow in Photoshop and make it actually look like it's real. Okay, now it is time for the bonus features. The Easter egg, the victory lap. Well, not quite a victory lap. I don't think I would go that far. But okay. And you can hear the airplane in the background. Maybe it's the victory flight. I've got this pattern here, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy that, and then I'm going to open Photoshop. There's our old pattern there. I'm going to create a new page. Don't save that. Create a new page. Let's just make it like, we just need a place to store this. It's 900, 902, all this stuff. That all looks good. We're going to click Create, and we're going to paste our image on there, and you'll see it was on my other screen, but you can see I've got this thing. I'm going to bring it in there as a smart object, and I've got my art in Adobe Photoshop. We're just putting that in there to hold it, to keep it in place for now. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to open up, go into this thing called Envato Elements. I use this all the time. It's actually pretty good stock photography. It's got video templates, music, sound effects, graphics templates, fonts, a lot of different things. It's great. It's limited in having people of color. Sometimes the stuff looks a little staged or looks like someone just used their iPhone to shoot the photo. But it's for the money, about $16 a month. It's great. So I'm going to type in pillow mockup a Rooney. We got a bunch to choose from. We don't want photos. We want graphic templates for mockups. So I'm going to click see more. I kind of think I know which ones I want to use. This one looks pretty cool. It'd be neat to see it in let's throw that into my bite size thing, and let's find another one that maybe that's a little more just looks maybe more like yeah, like this floating guy. He's pretty cool. Click download on that. Bite size, add to downloads. That's gonna throw it some crazy place on my hard drive. Hey, it's me. That's what my old office looked like. Documents, downloads. There they are. Pillow. Let's just whip that into our folder over here. Okie dokie. Getting there. Pillow 1. One of these pillows is still going. You can see the little timer. It's almost done with its dinner there. And maybe, yes. All right, we got a pillow down. They usually come in as zipped files, particularly mockups are kind of big files. Going to open them up. It takes a second for them to open as well. While we're waiting, let's talk about what type of day you've had. Interesting. Very nice. I think you could do better. No. Really? Anyway. Man, these are taking a while. There's one. Yeah, mockups are actually really big files. This one's going pretty fast. Cool. All right, we got our folders in here with our mockups. Our PSD files. That looks like the one that's on the plain background. Let's just open up one of these. That one that's in perspective there looks pretty cool. I'm going to open that up. Zoom out. Let's see. I'm going to just kind of look at what kind of backgrounds we have. We just got a plain gray background. Not much of a shadow going on there. Oh, there's the shadow. Okay, cool. So yeah, there's like all these layers buried in. You kind of just have to like figure out, hey, how do I get over there? You just have to, like, what is specular? Oh, that actually looks pretty cool. I just play around, but there will be a layer that says like put your design here, and that's where you put your smart job. But you can actually put anything there. So let's click there. There's a design that's in there already. I don't know why that wasn't shown up. We're going to try to paste our design in there. Let's do it as a smart object. There it is. Just kind of stretch it. Zoom in. Oh yeah, we need to go all the way to the edges. I did the old Apple or Command 0. Get that in there. Click save it. Actually place it first, then save. Okay. Could not open because the file was not found. All right. I think it worked that time. Let's go in. Did not show. Oh, there it is. It just wasn't turned on. There's our pillow. Pretty cool, huh? And then you can zoom in. It's got like the fabric on it. That was that weird specular thing. Yeah, that's specular. Is like, kind of giving a fabric texture. You could really even, you could change the background color just by clicking on this. Green is not cool. Let's get it kind of a cool brownishy sort of color. Actually go here, maybe there, more neutral. Okay, bam, got ourselves a pattern on a pillow. Okay, let's jump into that other one that actually has, I'm not going to save that. Let's jump into that other one and actually do the pattern on a chair. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see which one looks good. Oh, there's a lot of chairs in here. See, like, that's the one cool thing about Envato Elements. It's like, it's got 13 different 13 different options. Yeah, let's use this one. We're going to open that again. I'm going to Command 0, kind of zoom out to see what we're doing. This one's actually organized a little bit better. Mr. Chair says think so at least. So we're going to double click on that. We will just Command V because we're pasting our image all the way from Photoshop, no, Illustrator, into Photoshop as a smart object. There we go. Let's zoom out to that. Oh, darn, we did not fill up the space very well. Let's just stretch it over there. Okay. Don't forget, once you save it, yeah, first you got to place it. Then save it. And now let's go over to our chair and see how. Oh, man, isn't that sweet? And, like, you know, if you needed to get back in there and change it out, you could. You could even, like, you know, change the color of it. Let's it's a smart object, so we're gonna have to undo it as a smart object. Then we're gonna shift the color. So I just did a quick basically made it a raster file, but I did it. I cheated. Don't tell anybody. Okay, plugins, layer, filter, image, adjustments, hue, saturation. Now this is kind of a down and dirty way to do it, but if you play with the hue bar, hue will come out and get you. No, the hue bar can actually, like, you know, kind of pull things into different color palettes. The blue is kind of neat. We can make it darker or lighter. Actually, I like the light. We're going to desaturate it a little bit, make it a little more gray. Click OK. Click Save. Go back into the chair and see what happens. Oh, man, isn't that cool? Look at that. Now, Brian, I bet you know how to do this, but isn't this cool what you guys could do? So we're going to go over this in class. This is going to become a lot more useful a few classes from now when we're building our boxes. We're going to do the boxes the exact same way. So yeah, look forward to seeing you next Monday, and have fun. Play with this if you get a chance to, if you can kind of figure it out. I'm not, you know, I talked about creating a 3D box in Illustrator, and that might be a little tricky for this week. So good luck with it, and see you Monday. What was that, big boy? Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. How could I forget the flamingo? Okay, well, it just so happens that I have one ready to go. And there it is. Oh, this is pretty cool. This style of wallpaper is really, really popular right now. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to build this in the pattern maker. We're going to shrink it way down. Going to fly through this. Throw it in the pattern maker. Open up said pattern maker. Create some of our nice overlaps maybe. And we're going to need to zoom in on that. So we want to have some overlaps in this pattern. Option this. Rotate it around. Gonna make it like really, really rich. Option change this. Pull it over here. It's a little too much. Maybe up here. And that's maybe down here. Just kind of messing around with things. Spin that around. Got a little bit of a hole over here. Maybe spin that leaf down to fill up that hole. That leaf back in there. The bird. Overlap there. There. Pull that in there. Move the bird there. Pull that leaf out there. Stretch the flamingo a bit more. That's well, that leaf needs to do some work. Let's go back to here. Oh, not there. Not maybe there. Maybe there's a. That's a cool looking plant. We'll grab one of these. Maybe that. Maybe. Maybe these three. See what we can do with them. Let's see. Go back into our pattern. All right, that did not work. This little guy, he's lost now. That's pretty cool, and I think we're gonna like throw a color tint behind everything. Not a pattern, but like a cream kind of color. And oh, there we go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's see how this turns out. We will go to say we're done with it. It gets us back on our master page, and then the rainbow wheel is never a good thing. Um, oh yeah, look at that. And let's even try. Let's double click this pattern. Maybe try some pattern options with it. We've got grid right now. If we do brick, what does brick do? Brick's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and save that. Yeah, that's pretty nice. But you get the basic idea. You can zoom in and get a good look at it. And you can get really complex with these. If you take a lot of work with it, can really, really put together some nice work. It's great for fabrics, wall coverings, um, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that's the missing flamingo. Cannot ever forget about the flamingo. No, never forget the flamingo. Okay, see you later.